Are you staying inside because it's fucking cold outside? Are you perhaps rocking the onesie that your mother got you for Christmas? Or are you sick, possibly with COVID, even on your deathbed? These are no better times than ever to practice your freestyle, and I'm going to give you a tip that'll really help you out. What's the big tip, you ask? It's really very simple. Even if you're a freestyle pilot, such as me, I highly suggest you get into your favorite simulator and you do the race modes. The reason why is because racing is really going to teach you how to hit a gap quickly, do a nice, clean, quick power loop, all these things that you would need to do in order to be able to freestyle incredibly smoothly, especially if you're looking to get into the flow style. I am not at all the best flow pilot by any means, nor am I a good racing pilot at all either, but I definitely have to say that my flying improved very quickly once I actually started doing this. I started in liftoff, I raced in uncrashed, and more recently I've been getting into Velocidrone. I feel like as far as the way the quad flies, Velocidrone's pretty accurate to what it feels like in real life. Liftoff and uncrashed are a little bit, I would say, heavy on the thrust, meaning like you kind of really shoot out really quickly. You can make some adjustments in uncrashed and sort of changing some of the characteristics of the actual quad and liftoff. You can also kind of change some of that. Velocidrone really does a good job right out of the gate, kind of feeling more true to life. So lately I've been getting a lot more into Velocidrone as far as the racing simulator that I use. Now, with that said, go ahead and bust out your favorite remote controller and let's get into some Velocidrone. So here on the main screen at the very top, you see that we have a section for this week's time trial. This is pretty cool because this is actually a direct comparison between yourself and other pilots out in the world. As you can see, I'm currently ranked 248, which is incredibly terrible, I know, but not bad considering all I do is freestyle. I know this sounds crazy, but there's a saying that goes, train like you fight. And what does that mean to me? Well, I pick a freestyle quad and I set it up as a freestyle quad as best I can in the settings. I include a GoPro for the extra weight, I include relatively the same prop size, and so on and so forth, because the idea is I want to be able to get a feel of what I'm feeling when I freestyle, even if it is racing. Now my recommendation is you find a map that you really like as far as it's fun to do, but it also incorporates as many obstacles that you kind of have to get out of your comfort zone as possible. And what I mean by that, you want to have something that's got some good dives, some power loops, you know, maybe some sort of like really sharp banking turn you got to make, something that you wouldn't normally like to have to do, or maybe something that you're even working on in real life. Pick a map that does that and get in there and practice on that map. So for me, the 2021 Multi-GP Champs Track 1 is probably one of my favorite tracks that I found. I haven't tried them all, of course, but this map has a really great set of obstacles and things that I want to be able to improve on, even in the real world, which is why I chose this map. Alright, let's go ahead and start this race. Start is important. Hit the gap. This turn is a pretty tough turn, power loop. It wasn't too bad, didn't shoot it to the moon. Quick turn, quick turn. This really gets you to kind of use your like ambidextrousness as well. Not everybody really likes to turn both directions. I know I've been guilty of that. I hate this obstacle. I've been guilty of that in the past, and racing really forces you to do that whether you like it or not. Okay, look that up slow. Keep on the throttle, keep pushing. Get around those gates. Correct, a little bit. And this one's kind of neat. I like these little circling gates. This one's really neat. Jump. And right in. So you get to practice gates. Or dives, sorry. So, not everybody's going to be fast right off the bat. I sure wasn't. I had a really hard time hitting gates at first. And that's really where the practice comes in, right? The whole point of this is to try to take yourself out of the comfort zone. And I think one of the biggest things you can take away from learning in the simulator is how it really pushes you to sort of kind of work on those ambidextrous turns that you don't normally do. You watch somebody's footage and pay close attention, I bet you'll notice that they either turn right a lot or they turn left a lot. They probably roll, snap left, one direction or the other a lot as well. not a lot of people kind of go both ways consistently. And it's kind of reminds me almost like of skateboarding. Back in the day when I was really into skating, being able to do a switch trick was more cool than being able to do a regular trick. So I personally taken it upon myself to try to get better at doing those ambidextrous style of moves. If you're going to do a split S one way, try doing it the other way. And really racing is kind of going to force you to do that more. So the other big positive is if you're really into flow, this is a really great place to start. I heard some piece of advice, I believe it was from FPV. Guy's a phenomenal freestyle flow pilot, absolutely. And one of the biggest tips I think he gave about trying to flow was always staying on the throttle. And in racing, you have to stay on the throttle if you want to have any chance of improving your time. So I think that kind of sort of lends itself to learning that style because you're getting used to staying on the throttle as much as you possibly can. Very rarely do you ever have to actually go to zero throttle. Once you actually get better at freestyle, you'll notice that that's true even in the real world too. You can do power loops, heck, you can even do inverted yaws and still kind of keep a little bit of throttle going. And it sort of kind of helps stabilize, and it also helps you get cleanly out of it back into your normal style of flying afterwards too. So try this out, try picking up some of the race mode in one of your favorite sims, whatever one you choose, and see if it helps you improve in your freestyle. And I definitely want to hear about it in the comments below. So have a good night.